My name is Tatiana Mota. I'm the Student Engagement Manager here at Study Cairns, and my colleague, Danny Lopez, who is going to be here with me in the HUBinar as well, will be sharing some information about the cost of living in Cairns as well. Okay, let's go ahead then. Okay. All right, so in today's HUBinar, we are going to be talking about accommodation costs. So how much as an average you'll be spending for accommodation and what kinds of accommodation you have, you can choose in Cairns. Second topic, moving around. So how much you're going to be spending transportation, for example, and what other options you could have to spend less money on that. Education costs. So we did sort of like a study and have an average of the costs of different courses you might be choosing when you come to Australia, and we're going to be sharing it with you as well, and other living expenses that you might need while studying in Australia. So Danny, do you want to start with accommodation?
Yes. So taking account that 2 weeks ago we were talking about the general cost of living in Australia. Today, as Tatiana mentioned, and we want to focus about the cost of living in Cairns. So this type of accommodation that I'm gonna talk about it are the options that you have here. So the first one is the homestay. This is mean that you're gonna live with an Australian family. That way you can experience the real local life. Normally this homestay includes 2 meals, normally the breakfast and the dinner during the weekdays and 3 meals on the weekends. That way you have the experience to eat what the Australians eat here. In my experience, this is a good way to start, at least maybe the first couple of weeks. I did that because you're gonna merge directly to the culture. You're gonna have the opportunity to practice, of course, start with English and to meet local people. They always are really friendly and they can show you around as well. Normally as well, the homestay includes the pickup on arrival. So they're gonna pick you up from the airport and that's it. So the homestay not always are close by these institutions. So you may have to pay additional cost for the transportation. But on arrival, when you arrive to Cairns, it's included if you up.
Okay. So let's go ahead then.
Sorry, and another thing that I'm homestay that I forgot to mention. So you this is normally organized with the school or education agent. You can share any requirement. For example, if you have any allergies, pets allergies, or maybe food allergies. So it's not mean that they're gonna cook like a type of hotel. It's not a buffet, or it's not like you can request a special menu. But of course they're gonna have in mind if you have any diarrhea or allergies. So you can provide that requirements in advance, and then here the school, according to your requirements and the homestay option, they're gonna match the best option for you.
Cool. Let's go ahead then. So the second type of accommodation is the share house. So this is a pretty common type of accommodation that students decide to have because they are able to share the space with other friends. Sometimes they have a shared communal area and facilities. So this is very interesting for students as a whole. So these kinds of accommodation are purpose-built student accommodation, specifically for students. This is also a good way to meet new people. When you arrive in Cairns, you get to make new friends while you're here. So this is a good way to start interacting with friends and students from other schools as well. The options range from studio apartments, which means like a small place with sometimes a bed and a few things, a little study for yourself. And they can also be shared rooms, as I just said before, up to 2 beds here in Cairns. So sometimes you have one room for yourself and your friend has the other room. So you have a space for yourselves and the other areas are shared, right? Usually these share houses are centrally located. They are near public transport, which makes things much easier for you when you are living here. And sometimes they are also near the uni or the school you're going to be working or studying while you're here. The other aspect we want to highlight is that the bills, for example, electricity, internet, they are usually included in the price you're going to pay. And it means you're gonna have no extra cost. So if you pay that amount every week, you know that you're gonna be having a room, you're gonna be paying for electricity as well, for internet and other stuff that may be agreed when you have this contract, right?
Yes,
Okay.
and normally as well, these type of share houses that are specific focus for students, they provide extra activities and entertainment for the students. They have a space for them to hang out with other students as well, like a barbecue, pool. So yes, it's different type of share houses, but this one are specific for students. That is our main customer in this opportunity. All right, another type of accommodation is on campus, that are accommodation that is inside of the campus for students from that university that help and control, that is managed and controlled by the university. And normally that is already full furniture, include all the bills, and as well provide additional support to the students connected with the university studies.
Cool. And the last kind of accommodation we have is any place you can rent, right? So some students actually prefer to look for unit or a room and share with friends, right? With colleagues from uni, from school. And this is a good possibility as well because it makes it really flexible. You can look for a place to rent anywhere in the city. So if you're studying at uni and depending on the uni, you're a little far from the heart of the city. And if you rent a place closer to your uni, it's much easier for you, of course, and so forth. Sometimes you start working and you want to live near your work. So you just rent a room or a place, a space closer to your work as well. So you can rent or lease a property by yourself or with your friends. You just contact a real estate agent, or sometimes students look at rooms or units for rent on Facebook or on Gumtree as well, which is a page where there are many things to sell and rent and all sorts of things that students can access as well. And you just sign a contract. Sometimes, usually the contracts in Cairns start from 6 months. So you can make a 6-month contract and extend it if you decide to live in the same place for longer, right?
Yes,
Okay.
normally this type of accommodation. So when the students come here for 6 months, maybe they're gonna start first maybe with a homestay to have the experience with a local family. Then once they have friends, once they have that social life, they may move to a shared house because they want to interact with another students. But when they maybe their studies are longer than 6 months, there is when they think, okay, why we don't rent our own place. So of course we recommend to do through a real estate because it's safer. However, in the next webinar, we're going to talk about more deeply about what you need to do, what are the documents. But yes, normally when you rent your own places, because you're going to stay longer, so you prefer your own space. Because sometimes those places can be with furniture or without furniture, so it's more responsibilities involved. So that's why is when the students have a longer stay in the city. But yes, it's an option, and as an international student, you can do it. And for the living on campus is for those that are just maybe focused on their studies and they prefer just living on the campus, or maybe they are just doing a exchange semester, so they prefer don't waste time looking for accommodation and go straight to on-campus accommodation option. So as I mentioned, yes, our next webinar is going to be more specific about what are those requirements for accommodation. And today we're going to talk about that share houses that are focused and specific for international students here in Cairns. So we have these 4 options. They provide different type of accommodation. They are organizations that are their purpose of the organization is provide just accommodation for international for students. Some of them they may accept other type of visa, but in general this is for students. That is mean that the space is safe, that are close to the institutions or close to transportation, that you're gonna have inside of your room a study place because you are a student, so of course you will need a place to study. So let's talk about the first one. This is the Cairns Student Living. They provide just single room. This means that the room is going to be just for yourself. It's a king single bed. You have you have air condition. You have as well the fan. You have the study space. It's included the cleaning as well, and you're gonna share with other students the common areas like the toilet and kitchen and laundry as well. So they have a building, a specific building just for female, if it's the case. If you want, as a woman, you just want to share with other women, they have just a female build or building, or you can be a building mixed with other students. Their buildings are two floors, and each floor has at least one toilet with different toilets and bathrooms. So it's not just one toilet for everyone. You're gonna have more than one, of course. And normally you will share with between 5, maximum 8 people. The other option is the Cairns shared house. They have for single rooms, double, a twin. So single is mean you have just the room for yourself and you share common areas. Double, it's mean that you have a double bed, so it can be couples. Or just because you like a double bed as well. So the size of the room is gonna be bigger. Twin rooms is maybe sharing with a friend or with someone else. You can tell them that request if you want with someone that you know, or if you are welcome to meet new people as well. So of course, when it's twin rooms, it's cheaper because you split the price. But maximum you're gonna share with 2 people. So this is here in Cairns because we know that in other cities, some share houses in the same room, you can have plenty of beds. So maybe you can share with 6, 5, 10 people in the same room. So here in Cairns, maximum is 2 people per room. And of course, in the building, maybe could be up to 5 or 8 people. The other accommodation that we have here in Cairns is when having student living. They as well provide different types of accommodation. They have a single, double, or twin rooms, sharing the twin room sharing maximum with 2 people. And the good with them is that you have the option that your room you have without or with your own bathroom. It means you won't share the bathroom. You just will share the kitchen and the living room, but the bathroom is gonna be just for yourself. So of course, if you want just the bathroom for yourself, it's gonna be a additional cost. But for some people, they prefer to have that. Other option is the Kansas Student Lodge. So this accommodation as well have a single room in a 3-bedroom apart. It means it's an apart who has 3 bedrooms, so you're gonna share with 2 people more, 2 more people, and you're gonna share with them the kitchen and the living room and the toilet. So you have the option to share the toilet, or you have the option to have this 3-bedroom apartment with your own toilet as well. As well, they have the single occupancy apartment, and as well, they provide food 7 days a week. So that is different prices. All of them have different locations. Kangaroos just has one location near the Cairns Shopping Center. Cairns House have different buildings around the city, but all of them are closed to the educational institutions, same as Mayhaven. And the Kansas Student Lodge is located at the north side, close to JC University. So as well, this accommodation is pretty popular with the JCU students. All right.
Let's go ahead then. So in terms of prices, do you want to go ahead, Danny, with this one?
Yes, I can do that. So here we provide an average, and it's important to clarify that these are the prices right now. Sometimes the prices can change in the way that can be up, or maybe are some promotions, or you get a package because of the studies and the accommodation. So this is just to give you an idea. All right. The homestay is around 260 per week in average. Share house, as I say, it depends if you want a single room, double room, twin room with toilet, without toilet, can be around $105 or to $310 per week. And as well, that depends of how many weeks you're gonna stay in that location. Sometimes you have plans. If you stay more than 24 or more than 30 weeks, they may provide a special price per week. On campus, these prices are specific with only lunch. That is the on-campus accommodation that we have here in Cairns, and is from $179 to $299 per week. Only lunch has the option to have your own apartment in a bill, like a student bill. And as well, you have the option to have your private room with sharing common areas. Plus, of course, they have other type of entertainment in the building. And if you rent your own place, can go from 200, like a small studio, up to whatever you want. So normally this, if you rent your own place, it depends how many bedrooms they have, how many toilets, how far is from the city. So it's different options. and is other things involved over there that we can talk about that in our next webinar. So these prices are based in an example of a single student organizing the accommodation for 6 months. I know sometimes you are coming here with your couple, so you want to maybe share house for a couple, so their prices can be a little different. So that's why we did this example for a single person. That is the normal example that we have. And as I say, the prices can change depends of how many weeks you're gonna stay in that place. All right.
Okay. So moving around, so this is the next topic we are going to be talking to you about. So here in this slide, we prepared a list of some kinds of transportation you have available in Cairns, the average of the cost per week, and some details we're going to be sharing with you, right? So the first one is public transportation. Today, we did this research in September now. So if you are today in Cairns, you're going to spend between $9 and $33 per week in public transportation. And of course, this all depends on where you live and how much transportation you're going to need during your week. So it really depends a lot. But sometimes the students just go to uni and then back home, and then they are in the city, they walk everywhere or bike ride, and they don't need anything else. But sometimes they go to school and then they have to take the bus to go to work as well, and then back home. And sometimes they work in different places, and this counts as well, right? So if you are a uni or a vet student, you have 50% discount, right? So you just tell the bus driver, in this case, that you are a student, you have a card, and that's it, right?
So yes, for the public transportation, when you are a uni or better student, when you start your course, they're gonna provide you an ID, and then you need to request the sticker. It's a sticker at the moment, and that sticker goes at the back of your ID, and you need to show to the driver. So yes, the price depends on here in Cairns. The price of the bus is divided by zones. So if you live more like far away of the heart of the city, is a different zone that is close to the city, so that's why the price can change. But this price that we put here is for the weekly. They have as well like a combos or package. So it is daily or weekly. So this is for the weekly price for return. It means, for example, you take the bus to go to uni, and then after the uni you have the same bus to come back home. If, for example, you go from zone 1 to zone 5, that the return ticket is covered that, but you can do like stops in the zones that are between, so with the same ticket. So for example, if you go to zone 3, you don't need to pay extra because you have that ticket already. But if it's a place, a zone that is out of that line of transportation, or from 1 to 5, maybe you are going to 6, maybe there you have to pay extra for that extra way.
Okay, just go ahead, Danny.
All right, car. Here about car is you can buy a car. Actually, is in my case, I believe it's cheap to buy a second car here, a second-hand car. But that of course has an additional cost involved. that is the petrol, the record is the registration of the car. That tells us that the car is in a good condition, plus the parking and the maintenance. And of course, you must have a license. So even that you have an international license, is that okay? As soon as is not expired. And you can, if you want to stay longer in Australia, why not thinking about to get your Australian license? That is possible as well. So because Cairns, the city area where the educational institutions are and where normally the students work is really close. Not all the students have car. Most of the students are moving around with bicycles. A student get a car maybe for a job purpose because it's easier to move around with all the equipment that they need, or because maybe they are living a little far. But if it's the first time that you're gonna come here, it's good that for you to know that is an option, and to bring your license from home. And but of course, depends on the type of car you want. The cost can change, can be a little more expensive, and but it's an option there. About the scooter,
Okay. Yes.
you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, let's. Yeah, I can do that. Okay, so for the scooter, many students actually decide to get a scooter because first it helps them move around quickly, and second because it's not as costly as a car. So as an average, with $1,000, you can get a secondhand scooter. So as an average, you're going to be spending $6 every 2 weeks for petrol. And of course, as Denny said, it really depends on the distances you are going to need, you're going to go, right? So a license is required as well. And the additional costs involved are the petrol, of course, the registration, which here they call rego, and the maintenance. So this is what you need to take into account when you buy a scooter, right? Parking is free, and you need less than 50. What is it? What is it, Danny?
That is mean a scooter. If it's a small scooter, less than 50 cc, you can use
okay.
the same license as a car. You don't need like a motorbike license, which is good. So that is really convenient for moving around city. Of course, because it's 50 cc, is not for going to a highway because it's not that fast. But to move here in the city is pretty good. It's pretty cheap. At the moment is free parking for the scooters, so you don't need to worry about the parking fee. So it's a good option. That is the option that I have at the moment. And normally the scooters are automatic, so it's not easy to drive around.
Yeah, the free parking is a great advantage actually, because parking is pretty expensive in Australia comparing to other countries. So this is a good point, right?
Yeah, however, the parking in Cairns is much cheaper than other places. I know that in big cities they charge for the parking everywhere. Here is depends of where you're parking. Are some free zones for limited time, like maybe 2 or 3 hours, and the other places, yes, you need to pay, but is how much is this? Like a 60 cents per hour, something like that.
Yeah, so maybe more. Yeah,
is something like that. So that's why normally when the students move around with bicycles, or if they have a car, it's more for the weekends or going far away, not really the city, because the parking is mainly in the city. But if you are far away over the city, normally the parking for the cars as well is for free. Other option is the electrical scooter, is that one that we have at the top of the presentation. looks like that. If you buy a new one, can start costing from 600, but as well you can buy a second hand. For this type of transportation and bicycle, you must wear helmet and you must have lights for to put it on night during the night. Because if you don't have a helmet or you don't use the lights, the police can fine you, put it a fine. So we don't want to pay a fine, of course. And the bicycles, if you can buy from $100 at Kmart or up to whatever you want, as well have second hand options, but just to give you an average, that is like the investment that you're gonna do. So of course, bicycle is pretty cheap. Other thing that is really important for the bicycle, you must buy a lock. This is important. When you park in your bicycle, you must have a lock to keep it safe, the bicycle. And other way that you can move around Cairns is on foot. So as we say before, some of the accommodation, the students' accommodation are pretty close to the education institution. So sometimes they can even walk. So they have 10 or 15 minutes walking distance from their colleges. It's important, of course, that because here we are in the North Queensland, it's a tropical weather, you keep in mind to have some protection and as well keep your water, sunscreen, these things. But yes, it's an option, and it's mean you can have zero cost for transportation if you live close to your institution.
Okay, let's go ahead then. Now, in terms of education, so in our last webinar, we talked a little about the education institutions we have in Cairns, and also shared with you an average of the costs in Australia. What we did today, and Danny really helped with the research to get to this slide ready for you. We actually studied the costs in Cairns in the education institutions and have an average for you. Of course, always remember that depending on the course you're gonna do, on the level of your studies, this can change. This can be more or less expensive, right? But this average will help you already to do your research, right? Okay, so English language studies. Today we have an average of 180 to 250 per week based on 21 plus weeks course, right? So depending on the length of the course, on the period of your study, this all can revert to you in terms of discounts, right? So whenever you contact an education provider, always check if they have any special discount for you, depending on your country, depending on your level of studies. Always ask if they have any kind of scholarships, and this will, the more information you have, the better, right? The other one is vocational education and training. Here in Australia, we usually call it VET schools. So these are schools that provide you some vocational training to prepare you to do some kind of, with some skills to do some kind of work. And so the average of this kind of education is from 185 till 237 per week, depending on the level of the course, of course. So we have certificate 3, 4, diploma, advanced diploma. And if you don't know what courses these are, just have a look, Google it, and you're gonna have an idea of the length of these courses, and you can have an idea of what to choose, right? Types of course are also impact on the cost of the fee. So for example, here in Cairns, we have cookery courses, childcare, business and leadership, and others. So depending on the course, this will also impact on the fee, right? Then we have undergraduate degrees. So if you're doing a bachelor, for example, you're going to be paying as an average 400 to 950 per week. Postgraduate master degree 450 to 1040 per week. PhDs 375 to 875 per week. And this really depends on the course you're going to be doing, right? This does not include high cost of delivery courses such as veterinary school, medical school. These kinds of courses are gonna have extra fees, of course, right? So what you can do to make sure of the price of the cost of the fee, just go to the website of these institutions. We are going to be telling you a few of these institutions we have in Cairns that we recommend that you study, and you can just go to the website and see the costs of the courses you are interested in. There's an aspect here that usually for when you apply to a unique course and you pay for these fees, they are paid for a semester. So when before you start your studies, you're gonna pay the first semester, for example, and then you're gonna be doing this for the following semesters as well.
So yes, here
regional.
Sorry.
Okay. Yes, just go ahead, Danny.
So here, for example, with the prices of the university, because some of them have campuses in different cities, they have, of course, the same price for a specific studies. The advantage of Cairns is that we are a regional area and we have special concessions for additional scholarship options. For example, the Destination Australia. So this is a government scholarship that is mainly for institutions that are in regional areas for specific studies, and is covered $15 at the moment, $15,000 per year. So if your studies are more than that, you just cover the difference. But if your studies are less than that, they just give you that difference of money. So I got this scholarship last year, and it was for the whole year, and I didn't have to pay anything, and it's because for a regional area. So it's an option, it's an advantage as well for the students who want to study here in Cairns. So how do you know? So when you check their university website, so if we can go to the next one, Tatiana.
Yes.
So these are the study organizations here in Cairns. So you can go directly to their own website, and they have a link, a space for international students and the scholarships. So some scholarships are in general for Australia, other ones are for by states, other ones are just for regional areas. But as well, the universities have their own scholarships, so there they can give you all the information about it. So here in Cairns, we have two of the main universities in Australia, that is JCU, James Cook University, and CQ University as well. As well, we have the TAFE Queensland in Cairns, we have the IELTS institution, we have vocational institution like CCB, International College of Queensland, and EIM. We have really big options, study options for the students, from business, tourism, cookery, childcare, beauty, yoga. We have massage. We have as well in different areas and industries. so which is good, and most of them have as well scholarships and or payment plans as well. So if you are interested to study in any of these particular institutions, feel free to contact us and we can put it in contact with them directly with the right person for international students, and that way they can provide the current prices of their courses. As well, if you organize a package, so let's see you want to study first English and then you want to do a pet course, they can provide as well discounts for that. Or maybe you want just to improve a little bit your English before the university as well, they can provide those packages. Depends of the case as well.
Cool. Let's go ahead and other living expenses. So there are some basic living expenses here as well. So first one, groceries. You're gonna be spending between $40 to $60 per week. And this, of course, depends on your, your eating habits, what you like to buy for yourself, etc. There is a market here in the city called Rusty's, which you pretty much can find any kind of fruits and vegetables you're looking for at very, very reasonable prices. So this is a possibility as well. We have different grocery stores, and it's just a matter of you checking the best prices, right? Mobile phone plan, you're going to be spending as an average $8 per week for unlimited calls in Australia, 2 gigabytes of internet. Do you want to comment anything on this, Danny, on the mobile plan?
Yes, generally it's around $30 per month, and you have unlimited calls in Australia and 2 gigabytes of internet. And because of most of the places have Wi-Fi, at the school have Wi-Fi, and your house have Wi-Fi, so it's pretty much enough. Yes, of course, are cheaper plans or are more expensive plans, but in average, most of the students use this one because it's $30 per month, and depends of the company. I think is one company that is around $35, which as well include international calls for 5 or 10 different countries. So of course nowadays, because of course it's important to keep the contact with your family at home, nowadays we communicate through WhatsApp. But for example, my grandma, she doesn't know what is WhatsApp and those things. So for me it's easier to call her directly to her phone and not through WhatsApp, and that is included in my mobile phone plan. So it's different plans available. You can, normally what we do is month by month. So you can have a plan per year, or you can just buy month by month. So this month you can pay $30, or maybe next month you can just have a plan for $10. Depends of your needs.
Cool. And for entertainment, really depends on you, right? There is all kinds of entertainment in Cairns. It's a very, it's an outdoor environment, a lot of touristic places, the beaches, the waterfalls, lots of parks that are really free for you. But you also have, if you are eating out, you have nightclubs, you have pubs. So it really depends on what you're looking for. And if you're like shopping or traveling, you definitely need to include this in your expenses, in your budget as well, right?
Yes, so here, I mean, when we talk about first of the groceries, because we are in the North Queensland, and our weather is tropical, is more veggies and fruit options and are more accessible. because we have these fresh markets as a roasted market. So my suggestions for the students is to set up a budget for this, like a specific expenses that you know that is happening every week. We provide all the prices weekly because here normally they pay you every week or every 2 weeks. That's why as well the expenses are per week. And about the entertainment, here, as Tatiana mentioned, we have plenty of options that doesn't cost anything because our waterfalls or maybe lakes or go to the beach. But what I suggest or what I am doing as a student is to set up a budget. So maybe I didn't use for this week, but I can use for the next week. So I can save that money. Because as well, we have, for example, the Great Barrier Reef that is, you need to go by tour, and it's something that you must do it if you are in Cairns. So if you set up a budget, then you maybe can organize a trip per month. And here at the Hub, we of course provide student discounts for those tours because we know that the budget of the students are kind of tight.
All right, guys, so we are in the end of our presentation today. Just before we leave, we just like to remind you again that we are here for you. So the Study Cairns has the Cairns Student Hub here in Cairns to provide all kinds of services and support to you who are going to study in Cairns. And all these kinds of services we provide to you are at no cost. And we are located in the heart of the city. We have free Wi-Fi, room with air conditioning. In the summer, this is super important. So it's a place for you, right? If you need to come here, hang out, have lunch, you need to rest while in the city, have a chat with us, look for some information, we are here for you, right? So as you were able to see today, we have lots of study options to share with you. So if you're looking for a uni or a vet school or an English school to study in next year or sometime in the future, and you are kind of lost, just contact us and you're going to be happy to help you. We also provide accommodation advice. This Danny provided some information for you today, but it's really like very basic information. If you need more details, we are happy to provide it for you. Employment advice. So when you are coming to Cairns, you're going to be learning about the market, employability in the city, the businesses, and what you're going to be working with. And here we are happy to help you from doing your resume to preparing you for interviews and looking for placement, internships, and some volunteer work to help you have some local experience as well. Immigration support. So we have partners who are gonna assist you with your visa or any other details regarding immigration that you're looking for, and volunteer work as well. So as I said before, sometimes your volunteer work will help you develop some skills, interact with the community, do some networking, and this counts a lot in Australia, right? And we are all gonna be happy to help you as well find some volunteer work here in Cairns.
So yes, as Tatiana mentioned, that are the services. So this video we mainly do it for those ones that are thinking to move and study and living in Cairns. So if you have any additional questions, like more about the Cairns lifestyle, job opportunities, or you want to ask more about the accommodation, and specifically in your case, feel free to contact us. This is our social media. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook as a Cairns Student Hub. And as well, you can contact us through our WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger as well. Because of course, the difference of hour of time, if you are, for example, in South America, in Asia, is different in time. we may not reply straight away, but we will reply for sure. So please feel free to contact us. There as well at the bottom of this slide, you can find our social media, or if you have any special requests, well, you can send an email through connect@studycairns.com.au. So thank you very much. Our next webinar is going to be about the accommodation and some tips about it, things that you need to think about before to arrange your accommodation, the documents that are involved. So if you have any questions about this topic, please comment on, put it in the comments, your questions. We're gonna start reading that and answer in our next webinar. That's it. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you, everyone. Hope to see you soon in Cairns and have a lovely day. Bye.
Bye-bye.